So friends and family, here I am. I'm going to talk about just what's been going on with my health. I've been getting a lot of messages and texts, and I just figured this would be the easiest way for me to share with all of you at the same time. And it's not the most comfortable way, but it's a way that will get the word out there and answer your questions. Hopefully one time shot. Did my hair nice, but I may cry, so I didn't do my makeup. Anyway, a little awkward, but what happened is they found it's a quarter-size hole in my heart. And how it happened is I was going for a run, for one of my runs, and at the end of one of my runs, I had a heart attack. And so I went to the doctor, and initially they didn't really find much besides a little murmur. But because of the murmur, they sent me to the cardiologist, and the cardiologist right away knew that something was up. Did an echo, which is like a ultrasound of the heart, and found out that there was a hole. And so it happened right before I went to the mainland that I got the news, and so I just it was just a whirlwind of everything. And before they could tell me or do any more tests, we needed to figure out if I could even fly, and that was more the focus instead of figuring out anything else at that point. And so if you're hearing for this for the first time and you're a close friend, I'm sorry. It was a whirlwind of everything, and it was hard I don't know, it was hard to reach out, and I was overwhelmed, and I just kind of wanted to go to the mainland and forget about it, but ended up having to obviously share with friends and family that we saw. So anyway, after mainland, the tests were already scheduled in Oahu, so my parents made the choice to come over here and help out with the kids while David and I are in Oahu. We were in Oahu for about a week. And so I don't know how I would have done it without my parents. So parents, thank you so much. It was so helpful. So they were able to confirm that there's a hole, and they checked everything else just to see if everything else was functioning good, because there's a majority of issues that can result as that. Maybe back up to, okay, so not only was there a hole in my heart, half of my heart was enlarged as a result. So that could cause heart failure. That big of a hole makes the oxygen and the blood mix that's not supposed to mix, and so I'm getting bad blood going into all the other organs, which can really result in organ failure or damage, and the oversized heart could result in heart failure, there's all these other risks, stroke and heart attack and all these other risks that that happen because of this issue. It's hard to talk about. Last time I talked about this, I was just a puddle. So I feel like hopefully I've healed enough to where I will spare you all the tears, but and I'm trying to get to it quickly, but at the same time give you enough details for those who are going to ask me for the details anyway. So anyway, those are the issues that can result from this condition, and because of just the size of the hole of my heart, they wanted to take care of things quickly. so I don't have any more symptoms, because if it goes on too long, then I'm having to deal with lifelong symptoms even after the surgery. And so because other things weren't damaged, it was a good time to just take care of it, so there's no further damage that is happening. So they said that I was born with this, and that was kind of a shocker to hear. And they say that you start seeing or feeling symptoms in your 20s if you don't know about it when you're a child. And some people's symptoms are not strong enough, which mine weren't. And if you don't have a heart attack or some way of like getting you to the hospital because something serious happened, then some people don't find out until it's too late and their heart stops or their organs fail. So the positive in this is that I did find out when I'm still young. But it's just wrapping your head around a heart attack at 36 years old is kind of intense, you know. I run and I eat healthy, and you know, you think you do all these things to prevent things like this, and here I am, like, you know, still having a heart attack. But okay, so fast forward to the surgery. The possibilities were either going through an artery in my leg to fix the hole, to send a little or not so little plug into the heart, or the possibility of the open heart. So fortunately, they were able to go through the artery. So it's definitely a less intense surgery, still major. I mean, your heart's like the organ that keeps you alive. So, yeah, so that's what happened. They were able to close it. I am on my second week of recovery. The first week was really rough, super rough. I don't even know why they allow, I mean, I do know why they allow for people to fly home. Like, I was only in a hospital for overnight, one night, and they just let me fly home, like, on an airplane. I'm freaking out. And you know, like insurance and all that stuff. And so anyway, so how is the recovery? How am I doing? And like my emotions and feelings through all this. So the first week of recovery was really hard. My heart, I'm pretty in tune with like body, soul, spirit, and the interconnectedness of it all. And so I feel everything. And my heart was just hurting, like it was hurting, like it's swollen, you know, because something has happened to it. And I couldn't sleep for probably the first 4 to 5 days, like couldn't sleep. It was just painful, and I think part of it was anxiety, not knowing what to expect, because honestly, they don't really leave you with much expectation. They don't really leave you with like, this is what you should expect, this is how long you should expect it for. And so for that reason, it was hard to gauge like what's happening, you know. And I had to like Google people who've gone through this to see like what's the normal, what's not normal, you know. And so and they actually don't really set you up for a lot, you know, even from the fact that you know, they say this is a routine surgery, which I understand to them that it is, and a lot of people actually go through this with holes in their hearts, different various sizes. Mine's on the more extreme end because of how big it is. But they do these surgeries routinely. I think 1 in 500 kids are born with a hole in the heart that doesn't close, but like 1 in 1,000 actually has a problems later on in life. I don't know if those statistics are like super accurate, but that's what I remember hearing. So all that to say, like, you know, they really try to make it seem like this is not a big deal, which, you know, I understand when you're not going through it, but when you're going through it and like it has to do with the heart and you're so young. Mentally, it just threw me for a loop, and I actually like went through a time of grieving. Like I had to grieve what I knew life was, and like find the new normal almost, because now this is a lifelong thing for me. It's not like you're fixed. Um, and that's still hard. That's still like a process. And again, I'm fresh, so you will see tears, and that's okay. And one thing I've realized through this is that people have a hard time with other people going through pain. I mean, myself included. Just like it's interesting how people try to minimize, try to say, "Oh, I know so and so. They had the surgery. They were totally fine." Trying to make you feel better and make themselves feel like, oh my gosh, this is too intense, I don't know what to do. And then like, saying things, and that's fine, I understand where it comes from. But when you're going through it, it's like you don't want to hear that. You just want people to grieve with you, people to be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Instead of trying to like minimize it. So that was kind of interesting, going through all that. Anyway, first week recovery is over. My heart's was like way offbeat, like it was all over the spectrum as far as just like irregular, and I felt all of it. I even feel like I felt that there was a foreign thing in my heart, like I could feel that. And yeah, my capability of doing things obviously wasn't good. I was pretty much sleeping for the first week, trying to walk because I'm supposed to walk and get the circulation going, but just not having energy or desire to. And the incision where it's where the groin, I can't say that, like inner thigh area, that it hurts when you walk and do things, and so they say like, oh, a week will take care of it. I'm still hurting. The scars and the bruising's gone down and swelling a little bit, but the pain has not yet gone. But after like about day 5, I was able to finally get a little sleep, which really helped with feeling more alive. And so now I think I'm about like, I wake up, I have about 2 to 3 hours of like, I'm okay, and then after that I'm not okay anymore, and then I have to go lay down or take a rest or whatever. And so my capability is not, capacity I guess is, capacity is the better word, is not super great yet. But it's like slowly inching forward. And as far as just how it took a toll on our family and emotions, is another like whole thing. And that has been hard. Emotionally, just walking through some stuff. Because the heart is so connected with emotion, with like what gives you life, physically, and that has like, oh gosh, like the negative emotions that are connected to the heart, like physical is connected to the emotional, to the soul, to the spirit. And so all of that, when somebody messes with something, or there's damage on the physical level, there's always going to be a trauma to other levels, and so dealing with all those things are something I haven't fully dealt with, because it's hard. Like it's hard, and that's why I tear up a lot, because I haven't really dealt with all of it just yet. Because dealing with the physical, like healing, is hard enough. Like, some people are like, oh, you could write a book, you have all this time, or you can like do all these things, and I don't want to do any of those things. I just want to lay down. Like, I don't want to use my brain. I don't want to use my energy. I just like want to be, and it's like a weird place, and it almost feels like wrong to do that. But not, because I'm used to doing everything and then some, and so it's really hard, especially now I'm like feeling like, and I can have some capacity of adding to the world. And it's so limited, and just having grace and realizing like it's okay not to do anything yet, and for a while, like, but that's just hard for me. And so it's hard for me on so many levels. It's hard because, I have 5 children. It's hard because my husband's carrying the load. It's hard because, like financially and like on every level, it's hard, and so, so just walking through all of that. David has had his own journey to walk through, and he's been emotionally also having a hard time. Honestly, he hasn't been able to also like just get right back into work and just deal with like normal things. I think for both of us, it was kind of a shock. And so much so that like because how vital the heart is, it just makes you think of like, well, what if, like so many things could go wrong, even though it's a standard procedure, like what if, the what ifs and the dealing with like the dealing with that, the dealing with the grief, the dealing with the possible loss, the dealing with all of those things that go through your brain when you hear this news. And so he's also having to walk through that as well, on a different level, but just having kind of a hard time with that. And so, yeah, so emotionally is something, we're working on, and David and I are both taking steps, little tiny steps forward. Not pushing each other to do anything or be anything. My parents have helped for a week after the surgery, which was awesome. They left a couple of days ago, and yeah, it's just a new level of hard. But one we have to walk through. I'm not supposed to have I'm supposed to keep my heart rate as low as possible for at least a month, which brings up its own challenges, and it puts a load on to my husband more than normal. And the hard thing is I just went through a surgery, an appendix surgery, which was unplanned, obviously, and the recovery was kind of a lot, because it's your tummy that got opened, and so I literally just started to recover from that when all this stuff went down. And so I think we just kind of been down and out for a while, and that's hard. That's hard financially, business-wise. We've both started a business, and we had major growth, and it all like feels like 5 steps back. And the finances aren't really there. We've had a good cushion that ran out quicker than expected, due to like lots of different things, like, for instance, insurance not covering everything, for instance, not going back to work as quickly as we intended to, not anticipating this whole like emotional wreckage, wrecking ball, I guess. So many different things that we're walking through, and I'm just being real and open and honest. And I just want to say thank you for those who have brought us meals, who have offered to help with the kids a couple hours here and there. So thank you so much. Any tiny thing helps. And if you guys that are not on that are not here, you can always help us by buying honey. That's one business thing that you can help with. Although we don't have a website up right now, things are not grooving right now. But if you do want to bless us financially, you can always buy a jar of honey. Just Instagram us, message us. Right now, or text us if you have our number. Obviously, email us. But yeah, it's gonna take us a while to recover from just these few months of stuff. So, and we are overall there is hope, you know. There's a lot of frustration, also, because those who don't know me, like, that's kind of like the thing that, I don't want to say been spoken over me, but that's the thing that's been happening is I'm always in a hospital for something weird, like something abnormal. As a kid, as you know, as even somewhat as a grown up, and that's not something like I want over me, you know, or speak that over my life. But things are just, you know, things just keep happening, and so that's partly why I don't like to share, when things like that happen, because part of it, like, oh, like, here she goes again, you know, another thing, you know, and it's like, I don't want that spoken over me, and so sometimes it's hard for me to share when, like, things, crazy hospital things happen, health things. So anyway, so it's just gonna be a process, is all I'm trying to say. And again, just want to say thank you to everybody who's helped. Please just pray for both David and I to recover emotionally, and for me to continue recovering physically, for just the Lord to bless our businesses and our finances as we go through this, and just for us to just be emotionally stronger on the other side of this, because it's been like, just a lot of it's just been kind of like punch in the face. You know, things that you don't really expect to walk through, you're walking through, and yeah, and so it's just gonna be a little while, but we'll be back, and we still think God's good, and we don't. I personally, I don't love the question of, like, well, what do you think that, why did this happen to you? What is God saying to you? You know, I'm not there yet, guys. Maybe I will be there, but I'm not there yet right now. Just being really honest. And yeah, and now I'm just kind of prolonging this, and I'm sorry, but just love you guys, and continue to pray for us. Reach out and just see how we're doing. That's awesome. And I will talk to you guys all later. And one thing I forgot to add, when I mentioned this is going to be a lifelong thing for me, is because during the surgery they found another hole in my heart. And it's not big enough, he said, to cause any symptoms right now, but it's something they just have to watch every year. And because of that, my activity level may never be the same. And those who know me know that's going to be really hard. So yeah, so there's a lot to process, and we're processing.